nuclear weapons facilities since around the country. According to journalist George Knapp, quote, all of the nuclear facilities, Los Alamos, Livermore, Sandia, Savannah Hill, all had dramatic incidents with these unknown aircraft appearing over the facilities, and no one knew where they were from or what they were doing there. Again, for decades this has happened. Apparently no one knows why. No one seems especially alarmed. In the 1950s, some people were worried about this. A declassified FBI document from 70 years ago describes unknown flying objects measuring 50 feet in diameter in the vicinity of Los Alamos. More recently, the Pentagon has declassified footage from a US UFO incident in 2004 and 2 UFO incidents from 2015. You're seeing that footage. It was recorded by Navy pilots during training flights. We have no explanation for what these objects are. Just days ago, the Pentagon confirmed that an 18-second video of 3 UFOs harassing a U.S. warship called the USS Russell is in fact real. That footage was shot in July of 2019 and collected by the Pentagon's UFO Task Force, then wound up in the hands of Jeremy Corbell, the journalist who put it online. So the question is, what are these things? Why are they buzzing our skies? Why do they seem attracted to the United States military? And why, above all, isn't the Pentagon more focused on this? It seems like a threat if there ever was one. Commander David Fravor found himself in the middle of these questions unwittingly. In 2004, he ran into the now famous Tic Tac UFO while flying for the U.S. military. We're happy to have him on tonight. David, thanks so much for coming on. So when you hear a Navy pilot say that every day for 2 years we saw these objects in the sky, what's your response to that?
It's troubling at times because, if anything, there's a potential for a mid-air accident while they're out there training. Number two is, I think it shows a weakness in our reporting structure into the intel community to get this word out that there are objects out there that we can't explain, we don't know what they're doing, we knew they were tracked at high speeds, and nothing was being done about it. And there is a level of frustration.
If we had surveillance video that showed human beings of some kind were sneaking into military bases, into the most classified parts of those bases, and had been for 50 years, and we didn't know their identities, we couldn't catch them, how much concern would there be about that? Would we just say, you know, we just don't know, it's just one of those mysteries? Or would we say, holy smokes, we got to figure this out?
No, we would do the holy smokes, we got to figure this out, and we would increase our security posture in order to stop the intrusion.
Why do you think, and you always want to assume the best motives, and I always do with the military, but why do you think that we haven't done that over 70 years?
Well, I think, you know, when you go back to, you know, the 50s, 60s with Project Blue Book, I think the focus was to either disprove or discredit because we didn't want to alarm the population, is what they say. As you get into modern days, like our incident, I just think there was a lack of knowledge on how to report it, or if anything would be done with it. So it was one of those, we'll ignore it and maybe it will go away. And it stayed that way until 2017 when the New York Times posted the article that said, hey, this is real, there is a task force, and it is being funded by the government, thanks to Harry Reid.
And thanks to Harry Reid, that's right, and good for him. I remember when your story first came out, and I remember reading that you had been mocked or discouraged when you were in the military from talking about this publicly. I remember that you were definitely mocked when you came out with it. Now that we learn that a lot of people have seen this, I'm sure you knew that already, how does that make you feel? And why don't you think you were encouraged to explain more fully what you saw?
Oh, I think it would have been good to, you know, when the incident happened, to investigate because the data was there. And, you know, now the data is gone, the radar tapes are gone, the tapes that we had are gone, which was the radar out of the F-18. So it's one of those, you know, hindsight being 20/20, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and we didn't do that. I like to believe that nowadays that the reporting is going up, the sightings are coming out, the videos are you're seeing those that Jeremy put out, that the military is taking this more and more serious through the intelligence channels. And I think with Senator Rubio putting that clause in the bill, the COVID bill, that said, hey, you have 6 months to release this, now they're forcing the government to show their cards, or at least the cards that they can show.
Yeah. You took a lot of crap for this. I appreciate your coming on. Retired Commander David Fravor, thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.